Yo, what is up, people? Welcome to another episode, and it's another special episode we got for you guys here today. As you know, we do the combined 11 when the top six teams meet in the league, and it looks like we have another cracker lined up for Sunday. As we all know, it's a North London derby. Uh, Sniper, I know this is you're a Chelsea fan, obviously, but is this something that you look forward to? Do you think this is the most exciting derby in the league?
Um, Exciting derby in the league. I think, yeah, I would definitely go. I think it's up there with like the Manchester derby and um, yeah, I think those two are the biggest ones, definitely. Um, in the league right now. I was gonna say the Merseyside derby, but Everton have been very underwhelming for the last couple of years, so I wouldn't really say the Merseyside derby. I know there's a lot of red cards in that one, but um, I think in terms of excitement level, in terms of competitiveness, I would say that the North London derby is probably has been over the last maybe 5 years the more superior one. Because I obviously Arsenal in the last season and a half they've kind of elevated above. Um, but overall, I think Arsenal and Spurs have been there and there about similar in terms of similar competitiveness in the league. So, whereas the Manchester one, City have just been head and shoulders above their little neighbors on the red side
Yeah,
of
I
Manchester.
think we could have done a
Yeah,
combined 11 for Manchester United Brighton, but that would have been a insult to Brighton.
insult.
But we
Brighton didn't. Speaking on Brighton, Brighton didn't have an easy welcoming to Europe this week, did they? So
no, they didn't. But
what
we
a bit of
will save that for our next episode.
yeah,
When we get into it, and we'll talk about the Champions League, Europa League results.
yeah,
But for those of you who haven't watched this before, this is how it works. We do a combined 11 for Arsenal versus Spurs based on form. Um, If it depends who the home team is, that's the formation we'll be using. So in this case, Arsenal play the 4-3-3. We'll be using their formation and doing a combined 11 of the best players that have performed this season so far.
yeah. So it's basically season to date performance. We're not saying which is the overall better player or who has a better career. I mean, that might drive some of it in the end if there's a neck and neck kind of tie, but overall, we want to go for who's had the better season so far, season to date.
Okay, agreed. So let's get straight into it then. Starting goal. Straight to the tough decision, I would say.
No, I'm dead set on it. Like I
I'm
think,
set on I'm set on one. I just don't know if you're gonna agree with the one.
yeah, I'm set on Vicario. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You set on Vicario.
I'm set
He's
on
had shaky
Vicario. I
performances.
I think he's been he came in under the radar. Spurs were linked with Raya the whole summer. That was their man, and then this signing of Vicario kind of went under, and I've been very impressed with that. He's shot stopping in every game that I've watched of his. Yeah, he's had a couple of shaky moments here and there, but some of the saves that he's made have been fantastic. I think there were like two or three saves in the United game where Spurs won, where he had no right to make some of those saves. But the reason why I'm not going for Ramsdale um, is because he was recently in this rotation now, if you want to call it, or is it a replacement? We don't know yet. It remains to be seen. So I can't go for a goalkeeper that, in terms of Ramsdale, I can't go for a goalkeeper that we don't know if he's going to be the mainstay or the main cog going forward in the team. And we can't even go. He's been replaced essentially in the last game. And I can't go for Raya because he just played one game this season. So I have to go Vicario.
See, I would agree. I was gonna say Raya, but obviously he has played one game this season. But like I think when we did the Man United Arsenal combined 11, I did say we'll get to a point where Raya takes over
You
and
said yes.
he will
Yes.
be Arsenal's
Yeah.
number one, and he will
Yeah.
be like if he played all the games this season, I would put him instead of Vicario.
if he's
in this lineup.
if he's
I'll
performing.
give it to him. I know Ramsdale hasn't done anything horrible this season, hasn't had some mistakes, but he was dropped.
He
So
was dropped,
he
exactly. He
was
was
dropped. So that does play a big part. So we can go with him. That's fine. I'm not convinced by him either though. I've seen way too many shaky moments, especially he's handling or ball when coming out in the for the ball when it's in the air and stuff like that, like commanding his box. I
okay.
don't think
Yeah,
he's
I'll give
been
you that.
the
Yeah.
best at that.
We do know that's the biggest thing that keepers coming from abroad does struggle with in the Premier League. Like De
Yeah.
Gea, we saw him struggling with that. I mean, Kepa never got past it. I think the only keeper that really came in that was just like a duck to water was probably Allison. I think Edison, to a certain extent, also commanding his box. He had to adapt a little, but actually, I think Allison also had a couple of shaky moments in the beginning. Now that I think about it, but yeah, okay, let's move on.
Yeah. So Vicario and keep as keeper. Moving
Mhm.
on to we can do right back.
Let's go right back. Yeah.
I
Um,
I, I would go Ben White. I
yeah,
know.
I'd agree with you. I would agree with you. I would definitely go for Ben White as well. I think he's this guy keeps amazing me. I mean, he's just from where he was, the type of player he was when he joined Arsenal to the type of player he is now. Um it's just a world of difference. Like going forward, his agility, his passing, his first touch, his control, and then his defensive decisions have just been. I think he's a very, very accomplished right back right now, and he looks so comfortable in that role. So I have to
Yeah,
go right as
I
well.
would agree. I didn't when we signed him for 50 million, everyone said, we knew the criticism we were getting. So
Yeah,
expensive. We dropped 50 million on the wrong player,
yeah,
this and that.
yeah.
But it just shows like no one now is talking about his price tag. So it shows what a signing has been.
Everyone said, "Well, why are we signing? Why are Arsenal signing a 50 million centre back when you have Saliba, Gabriel, who are going to probably be the mainstays in the defense?" And it just shows that he's just such a him at right back is just so good. So
Do you think the plan was always for him to be right back, or do you think he just due to injuries made that his position his own? Because
I
I think
think
he just made it his own. He
I
wasn't
I
set for right back.
I agree. I think he was signed because of his versatility. I think at one point when he played at Brighton, he played in a back three and he played on the right side of the back three, in the championship, I believe. And he played with Leeds as well under Bielsa. So that versatility, the tactical awareness was there. And I think Arteta just saw something in that. Maybe his long-term plan wasn't for him to be at right back, but the way it did turn out, he did make his position his own. So I think there was an element of versatility and tactical awareness that was there, and that's primarily made the role his own. But yeah, so that's what I'd say. Center backs. Who would be your center back pairing?
My center back pairing, I would go, even though they're both right-footed, I'd go Saliba Romero. Even
Hmm.
though Romero has had shaky moments this season, but Gabriel hasn't started every game. He's just played the past two games. So
I think Romero has been really good. I do rate Romero as a player. I think Romero can be a very good Premier League defender in a top six team for years to come, but he has to cut out his shakiness. He has to cut out that he needs to start being a little bit more consistent. But I agree. I think I was going to say Gabriel, but Gabriel was dropped in the first three games, I believe, this season.
yeah.
So I agree. I would go for Saliba and Romero, and I don't think there's too much to discuss there. I think Saliba has probably been up there with the top three centre backs in the league over the last 18 months.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think any Saliba walks into almost any team in the Premier League, maybe Bar City, but I still think he can get into that team
Yeah,
or
Saliba.
push to be in that team.
If Saliba can stay,
Romero,
yeah, yeah,
with Romero, the only thing with him is he's a great defender,
yeah,
does really well. I just think he makes some rash decisions sometimes, which can cost them in games.
yeah.
But I mean, he's still young, can cut that out of his game. So
He's
we'll
still
see
young and he's
going forward.
commanding. He's commanding. He's a leader and he's very strong going forward. Like in the
Yeah,
opposition box on set pieces, he's a threat. So he's a very I think he has there's a lot of potential there for sure.
No, I agree.
Yeah. At
Moving
left
on
back,
to left back, I think there's only one option here. Let's be serious.
Dogi.
Udogi.
Yeah,
Udogi
I
has
agree.
been class this season.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but he's been really good this season. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to discuss there. Between
yeah.
him and Zinchenko, I'd go Udogi anyway.
And let's be serious. If Tumbers was fit, I don't see Zinchenko sees the starting 11 on the
I think
left.
there would be a lot of rotation, but the way Timber started in preseason and the start of the season, he was one of
Yeah,
our best players, if not our best player. So yeah, I tend to I would agree with that. I don't think Zinchenko would have seen the amount of minutes he's seeing right now,
yeah,
which could
yeah.
be helpful since we know his injury record too.
Mm, mm, mm.
But it's a shame that Timber's out now.
Yeah, it's a shame. All right, the I guess the midfield trio we would say.
We can go three. We can do all three at the same time. Um,
I have Declan Rice would probably be my number one, but next to him I would go Odegaard and Basuma.
oof. I would go Rice, Odegaard, and Madison.
You think Madison over Basuma?
Look, if we're going for balance in that midfield, we play Odegaard as an 8, Madison as a 10, and Bad and Rice as the holding.
Mm.
Look, Basuma's had a fantastic season so far. We've said it on here so many times. I just don't think he's been better than Rice. In my opinion, I don't think Rice has been Arsenal's best player
I
every
don't. Yeah,
single
I
game.
agree, but so has Basuma for Spurs. I mean, if you remember, we've been singing his praises, giving him his plaudits every single game week with Spurs. I think Spurs don't win those games. They don't control those games. Um, transforming defense to attack, breaking down play, slowing down play, controlling the tempo. Basuma has been integral to that. I think, but I will say this. I'll say that if we want to go for a more attacking, more of a um, um, on the front foot kind of lineup, then yeah, bringing in Madison above Basuma and keeping Declan Rice as your holding number 6, then sure. But if you want to go for a 4-2-3, like a 4-3-3 with like one more advanced than the other two, then I would play Rice and Basuma, and with Odegaard slightly advanced in the more of like a 10 role. I would prefer the latter, just by preference. I think the team is a lot more solid. And we all know what Odegaard can do with the ball at his feet. And if you have a very strong front three, then I think having that insurance policy in both Rice and Basuma is for me makes more sense. But Madison, if you want to go for the other type of setup, then yeah, I guess Madison makes sense. I wouldn't say that Declan, like Rice, has been head and shoulders above Basuma. I think they've actually been neck and neck this season.
I don't think he's head and shoulders, but I do think he has been better than Basuma this season.
Better than him this season, I think you're splitting hairs at this point. Look, in terms of potential and in terms of what Rice will go on to become, will probably be a lot more quality than Basuma, given his age, given his potential, given where he is in his career right now. But for the start we've seen this season, I think we're splitting hairs to say one has been better than the other, because I think both have been very integral to their success of their teams so far this season. That's
No,
what
I agree.
yeah.
Let's leave that to the comments. Let's say it's either Rice, Odegaard, Madison, or it's Rice, Basuma, Odegaard, and
Okay.
we leave that to the comments to decide.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah,
think both are very strong midfield, so
but
either or is a very good argument.
huge shout out to Matters. Like Madison has been fantastic. Like he's at 40 million. I know Big An just said, I don't know what world you live in if you think 40 million is a bargain, but
In this market, it is.
that market 40 million, I think you get a player of Madison's quality, and to see the output he's producing on a weekly basis is well
Yeah.
worth 40 million quid. So okay, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You wanna move to
The front three.
We can move to the right wing. I think that's simple decision. I think Saka, that spot is his.
Yes, I
I
would.
don't think
I don't.
anyone,
I think he's.
Kulusevski or
Yeah,
I don't even know who else plays there. For Spurs, but
I think
I don't think anyone comes to his level
no,
just yet.
no. He's probably the first name on the team sheet if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though I would say he hasn't had the best of starts to the season, but he's
even
still ticking along.
but that's by his standards, right? Like it's
Yeah,
that standards. Like his standards are so much higher. Like he's being held to a higher standard, which is probably he's a victim of his own success at this point, and
totally agree.
so yeah, yeah. I think we both definitely aligned on Saka. Left wing or striker? What would you prefer going?
Oh, we'll go if we go to the left wing. Keep in mind, obviously Martinelli is injured, so he can't get into this combined
Fair
11.
enough. Fair enough.
So we don't go off injured players. So I know Spurs have had Richarlison or Son on that side.
Son did
Um,
play up front though in the game that he scored a hat trick, if I'm not mistaken. Did he?
yeah, he did. He played as a number 9.
Right. So that could be a shout as your number 9, having Son up front as a number 9, and then someone else on the left. What do you think? I think Son has to get in on the left or up front.
I would see. I would put Son on the left,
Yes,
and then I'll put probably Gabby Jesus up front.
but
Even
he's
though
just
he's been injured,
one
but
game.
even I think even Nketiah has been better than Richarlison this season. So either or
Hmm.
could do it. Richarlison did have an impact in the last game, but overall over the season, I don't think he had any good game. I mean, he was even dropped for that game. He came on as a sub, so
Hmm.
I would go with Nketiah or Jesus up front, or I would even go to well, Trossard hasn't played much, but
Yeah,
from what he's played 1-2 games, so
and he played in a Champions League. I think that's probably skewing your recency bias.
yeah, if we're not going off Champions League at all, then probably I'll probably go Nketiah since he played the most games and he hasn't had any horrible games or bad games. He's just been an average 6 out of 10 every game,
I
whereas
I
Richarlison
agree.
has been
I
lower
agree.
than that, I would say.
I agree. And didn't he score the winner against was it when one of those against Palace, right?
He won the penalty against Palace.
And didn't he score with the cross from Vieira against Palace?
Not against Palace. Was that
Palace.
against?
It was when you were down 1-0, and then one of the players were down injured
Oh
or
yes,
oh,
yes, yes.
Fulham,
That was Forest.
It's
Was it
Fulham.
Forest?
Fulham. Wasn't it Fulham?
Oh, it was Fulham. It was Fulham. Yes, yes, yes.
At Fulham, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Son on the left and then Nketiah up front makes sense. It does make sense, yeah.
yeah. No, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the manager.
Um, I think I'd have to go Arteta still. Like I've been super impressed with Big Ange. Nobody expected him to come in to the Premier League and just implement his philosophy so quickly, get it across to the players, and getting your philosophy across and seeing that type of style of football being played is one thing, but actually getting results so early on is fantastic. But I think Arteta has just been doing it for like from last season, and he's continued this season. Um,
I will say the last 3 years, Arteta has been doing it. Even though we missed out on top four that one year, that's the first time where the fans started to see something and believe.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so I will include that season. Obviously, both seasons were underwhelming based on
Mhm.
where we ended up finishing.
Yes, agree.
Um, but I think Ange is still new in the league.
Yeah,
What I've seen from him so far is exactly what Spurs need. Even his press conferences have been nothing but like really good and entertaining. Also,
yeah,
he talks a lot of sense.
yeah, he does.
Um, and I think Spurs could really do well with someone like that. So, which shows on the pitch why they are doing it well this season so far.
What I will say is that Ange has won the manager of the month in his first month at Spurs, and going by the track record, Nuno and Jose both won their was the manager of the month in their
Oh
first
yeah,
month.
Nuno won his first 2-3 games in charge, and one of them was beating
And
City too. So
beat City. He beat
Yeah.
City, yes, and yeah, and but maybe this will be different this time at Spurs, but
Time will tell. Time will tell.
so,
We will get into predictions in our next episode. So guys, keep an eye out for that. But just to run through the team again, we got a 4-3-3 formation. We have Vicario in goal, Ben White right back, center back a pairing of Saliba and Romero. Left back we have Udogi. Our midfield three, we have two options. We have Rice, Odegaard, and Basuma, or we have Rice, Basuma, and Madison.
Rice, Odegaard, and Madison.
Rice, Odegaard, and Madison. Sorry about that. And then up front we have Saka, Nketiah, and Son.
And Son, yes.
And our manager is Arteta. So
yeah.
If you guys think anything should change, let us know in the comments and your reasoning why it should change, and help us decide on that midfield three. Which do you think is a better trio to start on Sunday in North London derby?
Yep.
But guys, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. We're trying to push out more content for you guys. I know we've been MIA maybe the past week. We're like Havertz in midfield, but we will be back with some more episodes, more content for you guys. So let us know what you'd like in the comments. Any last words, Sniper?
No, it's again, like we've had a bit of a hiatus over the last week and a half, but we're back. We're going to produce some good content, and I'm looking forward. Another episode will be dropping regarding our predictions and our preview for this game week, and it's good to be back. It's good to have the Premier League. It's back. So looking forward to the fixtures, and just hoping the Blues come away with those 3 points, because God knows we need it.
Take care, guys. We'll talk soon.
All the
Bye.